I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody to the study working session of the school board this evening. All are present tonight with the exception of board chair Stacy Ruel, who is out ill, and director Mary France, who is out of town. I will be filling in for board chair as clerk, and in lieu of that, I would like to appoint Enrique Velasquez to be the clerk pro tem for the evening. Is that okay? Yes. Very good. Okay, thank you. For this evening's meeting, I'd like to start by turning it over to Superintendent Stallo, who will introduce the purpose and agenda for the evening.
Thank you. Good evening, all. The purpose of listening sessions is to share information and updates to the board to ensure effective and wise decision-making during regular board meetings. This evening, we have a final budget discussion and review, as well as under the operation of oversight, information regarding our educational equity and excellence plan. We have several calendar events and a curricular update, as well as an update for the safe learning plan, followed by some policy review, and then we'll move into closed session for 2 additional items.
Okay, thank you. And as I welcome you all this evening, we do have a full agenda, and I want you to know that our normal process during a study session is to have an opportunity for public comment at the end of the meeting. However, I do have several papers of people who would like to speak, and I think in an effort to prioritize the voices of our students and community members, I'm going to propose that in lieu of the public forum at the end of the evening, we move it to the front of the meeting so we can hear those voices first. We then will be inviting all of you to stay for the remainder of the meeting so you can hear the work that is being done and committed to going forward. But first, I'd like to ask Dr. Stallo to give her an opportunity to make a statement.
Thank you very much. A few weeks ago, we all became aware of a racist video shared by a student on social media. The horrific racist video continues to cause pain and hurt to all of our community, particularly our BIPOC students, staff, and families. To be clear, our schools do not tolerate racism and hate speech. Our hearts go out to the student victim and her family. We've been in contact with them and are seeking ways to support them. Our focus continues to be on the safety and well-being of our students. We've been communicating regularly with our families, students, and staff. We've been convening groups to share ideas, discuss opportunities, and identify ways to provide a school environment that is safe, respectful, and where every student feels a sense of belonging. We're listening to the voices and the needs of our students. This work will continue as we try to heal and move forward with work that will improve the lived experience for our students. We hope this experience will help us to come together as a community in solidarity, in support of our students and the environments of respect that they all deserve. Regarding the student seen in the video, that student is no longer enrolled in Prior Lake Savage area schools. Per data privacy laws, we cannot share any details about the district's investigation or identify actions the district has taken to address student conduct as a result of its investigation. The Savage Police Department is continuing its investigation. Moving forward, we will continue to listen to one another, to work together, to provide a school environment that is safe, respectful, and where all students feel a sense of belonging and love.
Thank you, Dr. Stallo. Before we begin the public forum this evening, then, I'd like to go over some logistics for public comments. First of all, this forum time has been prioritized for stakeholders in our community, people who live here in our district, our students, our staff, and our families. I will call you from the name on the form that was filled out. You then can come up to the podium and address the board. At that time, I'll ask you to state your name and your relationship to the district. Please do not state your address. I will have a timekeeper. We have a number of papers tonight, but in an effort to make sure that everyone gets to be heard, we will stick with our original plan of 3 minutes per speaker. Director Bernick has time cards with her. When you have 15 seconds left of your 3 minutes, if you go that long, she will hold that card up so you know, and hold up a card when you are at the end of your time. As board members, we will listen respectfully to your comments, But as is always the case with public forum, we will not engage in dialogue or deliberate as a board. Our purpose is to listen to comments and to concerns. We ask that others in the room also listen respectfully as well. After public forum, we sincerely invite you to stay for our meeting. We have a full agenda which will include a few words from our superintendent on recent events in the district, and our Director of Equity and Inclusion, Sam Oak, will be presenting the district's E12 Educational Equity and Excellence Plan. We thank you for being here tonight, and a few more additional comments about public comment. Speakers are not allowed to verbally attack, disparage, or potentially defame individual board members, employees, or students, nor may speakers use vulgar or profane language. Also, speakers may be precluded from disclosing personally identifiable private data regarding employees and students. And I'd ask you to keep in mind, please do not be naming people, especially minors, in public. Speakers unwilling to conform to the rules or the time constraints may have their privilege of speaking revoked or stopped. We will listen respectfully, and again, this is not the place where we can take action, but if we do need to follow up with you afterward, please see us afterward, and we will get in touch with the right people who need to make that follow-up. Once the comments are done and we proceed with the meeting, audience comments are no longer in order, but the board always has the opportunity to call on administrators in the room to contribute to the conversation. So with that, I will call you forward one at a time. And I'm going to start with Greg Henningsen. Thanks, Greg. If you'd start by stating your name and relationship to the district, and then Julie will watch time for us so we can stay on track.
Are masks optional up here? That's fine. That's no problem.
I know it's harder to speak with them
No
on.
problem.
I appreciate that.
My name is Greg Henningsen, and I've raised two kids in this school district. They both are graduated. They went through K through 12. I've just recently moved out of the district, so thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you for coming.
And thank you all for your service. It's a volunteer, you know, you guys. I've never been to a Parley Savage School Board meeting. I've been to two in Lakeville since I've moved there. And I see how tense it has become. So, but I'm here to try to be positive, and actually praise the inclusion. I've got some notes here. Mm-hmm. The equity and inclusion resolution. After Thursday, the rally at the high school, I went to, they were talking about showing up at the school board meeting to support. So I went to verify the date, and it turns out it's today, 22nd. Anyway, I stumbled across that resolution. It's fantastic, and I just see this, and I just encourage leadership, students, community staff to embrace what is written there, and take this opportunity to shine a light on that. And I also just want to emphasize the need to elevate, and this is written in the resolution too, need to elevate and listen to the voices of Black, Indigenous, people of color students. While I was at that rally last Thursday, many students just had an open mic opportunity to come up and speak their experiences. These are marginalized students, any BIPOC. And it was moving to me and informative. And what I got from listening to them is that their experience doesn't reflect, the beautifully written resolution. And I know this isn't easy. Stuff is, this is really hard to get your finger on. You got to get all this buy-in from staff. It's really, this is, but very progressive. Thank you. Very progressively written, and I just hope that the community and everybody involved here sees this as an opportunity to show the way to other communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, next I'd like to call up Rebecca Hailu. If you could restate your name and your role in the district.
Yes, my name is Rebecca Hailu, and I'm a student at Prior Lake High School. I also live here in this city.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, good evening, school board meeting. I am a representative of Prior Lake High School's Black Student Union. I hold the position of communications. As a student-led club, we have always strove to create a safe space for our community. We never want or expect our members to be targeted. If no one else can be there for these kids, we will. Speaking on behalf of our club, no matter what is done, we will continue to heal together. We will continue to have difficult conversations. If nobody heard us out, we got each other's backs. However, we would love for any support to be given, especially regarding Prior Lake High School students. We should not be dealing with racial issues at this age, especially during these supposed modern times. I and others await to see what the school can do for us moving forward. Let's make this community united, and that starts with racial equality. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next I will call up Eden Alamou. Did I do that correctly? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eden Alamou. I am a student at Prior Lake High School, and I'm also the vice president of the Black Student Union. Unfortunately, it isn't the first time I'm speaking at a board meeting regarding the same issue. I first would like to show my gratitude to those working diligently behind the scenes to build our community up stronger than it was even before. In July of 2021, I spoke at the same podium about promoting an equity and inclusion plan to better the environment of students of color for all marginalized groups and students of color in our community. Although that plan was put into place, no action was truly taken regarding issues like the one we have been facing in the past few weeks. It is my fear that situations like this will continue because of the lack of action taken by administration and the lack of support given to students of color when events like these arise. And I understand that not everything is possible, but rather than seeing 50%, we want to see 100%. A good friend of mine told me this: when you leave a piece of candy in front of a child to leave them alone, they will not hesitate to reach for it and eat it. Furthermore, if you leave the piece of candy with the child and tell them that it contains something repulsive and explain to them the repercussions of touching it, they will never touch the piece of candy. We can apply that same analogy to real life, putting in place education to prevent repulsive events, but also establishing that racist actions lead to harsh consequences. Correspondingly, it is necessary to include equity and inclusion plans and supplementary education on critical race theory. Community objections should be sincerely considered. However, the final decision should come to the students. It's what the students need, not what the parents want. It is in the best interest of the board and administration to not only consider, but to persistently establish such norms. Despite our opinions, we should leave our emotions aside and think about the generations after us. Putting our children first will promote a positive atmosphere and continue to promote a positive atmosphere and encourage our board to put into action the voices of our students. I've said this once before, and I'll say it again. The equal opportunities we are provided with starts today. It starts in our classrooms, it starts in our sports practices, it starts in our homes, and it starts at Prior Lake. It might be difficult for people who don't experience these issues to rationalize taking action and providing solutions for such problems, but practicing positive peacemakers and making students feel like they are heard is something so little yet beneficial that can change so much. So please today, when you step out of this building, think about something positive. something you would want to experience as a student in a classroom where you maybe don't feel so comfortable, and put that energy into providing a safe space for students to thrive and become successful and build a strong foundation for the coming generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eden. Jonathan Mcclellan.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Mcclellan. I'm president of the Minnesota Justice Coalition. We are part of a collective of organizations that work with families and community to draft and advance legislation and other policy initiatives at the Capitol here in St. Paul and in Washington, D.C. First, let me say that we condemn the hateful, racist language that was uttered out of the mouths of the student, referenced, but not just her mouth, many others here in Prior Lake High School. I have personally viewed multiple videos of Prior Lake students making racially derogatory comments. We also condemn the failure of the school and the district to act in a meaningful way. We are all one family. We are all in this together, and an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. And when you pair a movement with a cause of action designed to change the system, even the mightiest mountains will not be able to stop the force of that movement. It might take time, but it will move. The Minnesota Justice Coalition stands with the family of Naya and all the other students who have had to endure racism and bullying in the institutions that are supposed to protect and foster a learning environment. It shouldn't have taken this issue to blow up on social media for the bells to be ringing in Prior Lake High School. The optics of this situation shows the community that the district cares more about their image than dealing with this problem, a problem that has been going on for a long time. Prior Lake High School has a racism problem, and there are other schools as well, but this is where we are at today. Hate speech, racial violence, and sexual exploitation, or covering up this conduct, is never acceptable, period. Regardless of age, and it should not be tolerated. My question to the superintendent and principal is, what is being taught here to educate our youth about racial equality, justice, and history? It is my belief not only the youth, but some of the staff need a refresher as well. The Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan, already stated that the state of Minnesota is not a safe place for black people. Now I question the city of Prior Lake specifically. We need to address this problem around racism and rip it out by its root, wherever it rears its head. It has been reported that the district has launched an investigation into the students involved with the video and will take appropriate action. We are demanding full transparency and accountability from the superintendent, the principal, the Savage Police Department, and the Prior Lake Police Department. However, since our initial pull-up, many more stories are coming forward. Many more videos are coming out, and I am appalled at what I've seen. Prior Lake Principal John Betzick said in a letter to staff and families that over the past several years, we have been engaging in conversations with students in an effort to create a respectful school environment. We are determined to continue to work with students and create opportunities for open dialogue so that they can be heard. This includes educating students about the impact of their actions, the consequences if they choose to infringe on the rights of others, end quote. The students are still waiting for that accountability you speak of. According to the U.S. News and World Reports, 83.2% of the population at Prior Lake High School is white, and only 4.3% of the population is black.
Jonathan?
Yes.
We are at the end. If you want to do your closing sentence, I'll allow that. Thank you.
Okay. You must hold elected leaders to account. You must hold your school officials to account, and you must speak up and stand up against racism and injustice. Your secret is out of the bag, and your privilege will not protect you or hide you. So do the right thing.
All right. We
and
are
to
done
the
now.
leaders
Thank
in
you.
the Prior Lake
We need to
school
close.
staff, do not shrink.
Jonathan, please stop, or we'll have to turn the sound off. I apologize. Thank you, though. I need to make time for everybody tonight, and then we do have to get to diversity and equity work that we welcome you all to stay for. Thank you. All right. Next up, I have Langalafa Oriho. Did I say that correctly? Thank you.
Thank you for the chance. My name is Langalafa Oriho, and then I speak on behalf of the family. As someone who is from the community that she comes from, we all know that the pain that our country, where we come from, went through, South Sudan. So one of the things that I can say here, we cannot leave the hell that we have back home and come to another hell. But I'm still hopeful, but that hope requires each one of us to work together. We need to look into the genesis of the problem instead of trying to act with the action. If we look at the genesis of this problem, diversity needs to be there. We need to be diverse in our community, diversity in school, diversity in how we get to put our stuff together. We cannot today say that by addressing this, racism can end here. It might continue if we don't really look into the root cause of this pain, because the pain that's coming to the family, it's big. And tomorrow it could be each one of us. We need to look at this family or at Nyaya as my daughter or as your sister, as any one of your family. And once you look at it and you own the problem, you get to feel the pain of it. It's not about black people issue. It's about our issue. Because we are all here participating equally to the betterment of our community and to the betterment of our environment. But however, every time this talk of racism gets to come, we are hopeful. We want to look at Prior Lake as a city that embraces diversity, the city that leads, because the history of Prior Lake has been not fair, especially to people of color. Therefore, I'm so grateful that I have a chance, and the family have a chance to speak through me to you and to everyone. Let us work together in improving ourselves by taking action immediately. There are some issues of debate, but racism is not issues of debate. These are facts need to be dealt with, and it needs to be dealt with immediately. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up, Julia Kojo, please. Good evening.
My name is Julia Kojo. I'm an aunt to Naya. It's a very disappointed issue because this seems like ongoing things since middle school. The same things that happened back then. And we as a black community in Minnesota are very disappointed in the school district here because there is no, there's a silence and there is no action has been taken into those situations. So what I have is for the district is a questions. What did you guys do when this problem happened back in the middle school?
I need to have no comments from the audience during public forum, please. Thank you.
So
Otherwise, it will
what
take
did
from
you guys
her
do
time.
when this situation happened back in the middle school? Nothing. Right now, this problem happened. What are you guys going to do? For us as a community to assure the safety of our children. I believe any parents send their kids to the school because they trust the school. But there is an untrusting situation right now. How can we trust you guys? How are you guys going to solve this problem so that don't happen again? For us, as a black or people of color, especially black people, to assure our children will be safe in the school. That's my question for the district. And I would love to hear or to see improvement in the district. in particular this district. Thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, Luke Schott.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Luke Schott. I'm a Prior Lake graduate myself. I am Naya and Elizabeth's older brother. And what I wanted to say was, you know, going to the high school myself and experiencing it myself, and knowing I have younger siblings coming up to go to the high school. And I'm not around Prior Lake anymore, so I don't hear much of what's going on. And when I heard of this, it really saddened me. When I saw the video, I didn't even know, I watched the video, I didn't even know it was about my sister until the next morning when I called my mom, because I put two and two together. It's sad. It's terrible. It hurt me so much knowing that my sisters have been going to school, dealing with this stuff, hurting. My older sister, yeah, she speaks up and says things. My younger one, she's soft-spoken, quiet. So she deals with this on a basis, and yet nothing happens until a video goes viral online. That is so sad. And I'm looking at all of you. One video was released. What happened? I believe they said, 2-3 day suspension for the first video that was released of a girl using slurs, racist slurs. 2 to 3 day suspension. She was back in the hallway. All the school, all these statements you guys dropped, no tolerance for racism, no tolerance for racism. A 2 to 3 day suspension is tolerance for me. That's just what it is. And for something to go viral like this, and now everyone is in panic, gotta protect Prior Lake's precious reputation. So I hope there was a lesson learned here, because this precious reputation that you guys were trying to protect is tarnished. And I hope something gets done about it. And I hope my sisters go to school feeling safe. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. All right. I believe that is all of our speakers this evening. Thank you for all.
You got another speaker.
I
you
cannot.
have another speaker.
I do not, and I can ask.
This room has another speaker.
We need to follow protocol, or I will have to ask you to leave.
I have the right. I'm going to speak. Firstly, I want to ask if any students.
Please, Mr. Mack, we have policies we have to follow, but I can follow.
Students been able to speak yet?
Yes, they have.
All right, thank you for that answer. I was going to enter this room with a bullhorn, and I wasn't going to listen to anything you had to say.
I understand, and we have policies and procedures for a reason, and we have needed. And I'm going to ask you to be cleared from the room.
And I'll gladly take more than 3 minutes. All right.
I'm going to call a recess.
I may not speak as eloquently as the previous speaker.
I make a motion for a recess.